Well, it's that time of the morning again where we get to sit down with the different party leaders from various political parties on Ask a Politician as we get closer and closer to the elections. Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania President Mzwanele Nyhontso says the party has managed to sail through the storm of infighting and is now back on its feet. The party will be battling for a stronger position in the May 29 elections. Well, let's find out from its president, Mr. Mzwanele Nyhontso, who joins us now via Zoom link. Mr. Nyhontso, a good morning to you. We really do appreciate your time. If you'll allow me to start with a controversial question here. You quoted, some have said that the PAC is dead. You're quoted as saying that most of those who have been telling the world that the PAC is dead are now dead. Explain that for us.
In fact, they are not only dead. I attended most of their funerals. And leaders in front of me attended most of the funerals of those who declared PAC dead without having seen its corpse. Now, all I'm saying is that they are lying. They've been lying to the world. It was only their wish that the PAC was dead, just like the legendary Valdez, that was declared to be dead by people who hated him, only to find them one by one and deal with them and give them a clear message, go and tell them that Valdez was not dead. Just like the PAC, we are back, we are alive, we had our own problems, we had our own infighting, we had our own challenges, and we have since passed those challenges. And this time, we are not only participating in elections, but we are contesting. And good morning to you and to your viewers.
Yeah, a very, very strong start, I'd argue, to our discussion. You talk about how you've come past some of your infighting as a party. I'm keen to hear what that process looked like, and not just obviously what you went through with the courts. Certainly the court saying that they're certainly not going to look at your matter if they're going to be speaking to 4 to 6 factions of the PAC. But what was the final, I suppose, hold-handing moment that said that you could work together as a party when you had 4 to 6 people saying that they are the rightful leader of the PAC?
The final moment was when the elders, the former leaders, the cadres, the former or the generals of APLA and the branches of the PAC met all together in Kimberley for a conference, unity conference. And that was a watershed moment. And that watershed moment is the reason why today we have only one person or one president of the PAC. And that moment is the moment that resulted to what we call today a united PAC. And that moment was when everybody was instructed to swallow his or her ego and accept that PAC as an organization, this august party of Sobukwe, is greater than all of us, is bigger than Sobukwe himself. And therefore we had to respect that, and we listened. And today we've got this united PAC, the ship of freedom, Nganawa Ngululeko, back in the center of politics, and we are ready to take on anyone.
Yeah, these power battles played themselves out in the run-up to the 2019 elections and the run-up to the 2021 local government elections. And you're saying that the PAC united going into the 2024 general elections. But up until recently, the former leader, Narius Moloto, I believe, has been still fighting for leadership of the PAC. Where is Narius Moloto?
No, we wish him well in his new political home, Al-Jama. We don't have a problem with anyone who decide not to respect the constitution, the leaders and everyone, but as an individual, of course. But yes, we respect his choice. We respect his decision to go and join another political party called Al-Jama. And with his friends, 2 or 3 of them, we wish them well. We have made our own strides. We have even invited him in our own election manifesto. We wanted to show everybody that we are ready to accept anyone. Remember, our soldiers at the end of the day, and as soldiers, we know that the wounded also belong to us. So we know he has joined another party, and we wish him well.
Okay, and just quickly though, he is still on the website, on the PAC website, as the leader and president of the PAC. Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not aware. If that's a mischief, you should also remove that website. Again, you are dealing with the only president now. We don't see that website in our site. Okay. Maybe he's just showing it to you.
Okay, we're going to take a short break, but we will continue this conversation on the other side of this. You're watching the AM Report. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Well, we continue with Ask a Politician, and we are still in conversation with the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania President, Mr. Mzwanele Nyhontso, who joins us via Zoom link. Perhaps what we'll do in the next part of our conversation, Mr. Nyhontso, is talk about where the party is now and some of the policy proposals that you put forward. One seat in the National Assembly. What's the goal that you've set for yourself?
Oh, definitely. We have set 10 seats now. We have set 10 seats now because we want to have a real contribution in Parliament. We want to have real voice in Parliament, real voice of the African people. And that's what we're working on. Our target is 10 seats, and that 10 seats is really achievable.
The highest seats you've had, though, previously was 5 seats in the National Assembly. So talk to me about where you believe this growth is coming from. And if you'll allow me to expand that question, has your membership grown? What is the number of your membership at the moment? I know that in previous election, you yourself said that you were a party that was voted for by its members.
Yes, and that's what we've changed now. Our membership is growing at a fast rate. But forget about membership, Naledi. The electorate that is pledging to vote for PAC is growing at a fast rate because we are concentrating to the downtrodden, the have-nots, in the rural areas. As we're speaking right now, I'm in the rural area. After this meeting, I'm going to go and ask for votes, and we see them. We started growing our membership in 2021. And whatever, we had only 8 seats before 2021 local government. And after those elections, we had 23 councillors nationally, represented in almost all the metros that we have registered on. Now, we're building on top of that to get more seats, and it's really practical and doable. We are going to get it. We're not concentrating only on rural areas, also on urban areas, Joburg, Gauteng, Pretoria, and Nelson Mandela Bay, Eastern Cape, Cape Metro, where racists are in charge. We want to remove them. We are really, really busy. It's worse in the rural areas, where the most suffering people in our nation reside. We are really growing, and they judge me after the 29th, and we must make sure that elections are not rigged. All votes are counted. We'll be talking the different story.
You know, there's a perception that the PAC is a party of, I suppose, some of the great and older thought leaders, right? I mean, I think about how recently we were, looking at the passing of Dr. Motsoko Pheko, Mokwedi Mkalipi, also that the party laid to rest just recently. And certainly leaders that are lauded at having contributed to the thinking of the party. But how is the party relevant to young people? So tell me, who's the youngest person on your candidate list?
This party is as relevant as it was in 1959. The relevance of the PAC is seen throughout all political parties. All of them in 1994, they were creating a joke out of Tata Makwetu. President Makwetu kept on saying land first and all shall follow. And to date, all of them are saying and are agreeing with Tata Makwetu and Sobukwe of 1959 and Kwedi Mkalipi, whom we laid to rest only on Saturday, that the problems of this country, all of them emanate from landlessness. That for the African people to call their souls their own is when their land is returned to its rightful owners, the indigenous people of Africa. Now, every political party that wants to be relevant in this country now is talking land, even though they don't mean what they say about the land. We have a lot of young candidates in our list. Even the PAC national spokesperson is Azania or Mzwanele Charlie, who is doing masters at the University of Western Cape, who at some point was the president of SRC 4 years ago at University of Western Cape. We have young candidates who are also professional nurses in Eastern Cape. We're in the national list of PAC. Sanelisiwe Dilata, who is also an NEC member. We have a lot of them, very young people. Anyway, I'm also not old yet. I'm only 50. I'm very young.
Okay, all right, okay. Let me ask you this then, Mr. Young, Mzwanele Nyhontso. When I look through your manifesto, one of the things that stand out is you don't speak about South Africa, you speak about Azania. So is one of your proposals to change the name of the country? And have you done estimates of what that will cost? I mean, that's a contentious issue once we start talking about name changes, people saying it's expensive.
No, we don't need to think about money when we're changing the country's name. The real liberation, when it is attained, the names of the colonial names are changed. It's only when the colonialism is still intact, like here in Azania. Anyway, South Africa is just a mere geographic position. But it is just a direction. You can't be named after a mere geographic position. And the word Azania resonates well with us. Remember, this is a spiritual country, and one of the meanings of the word Azania means God listens. Now, this name, this country's name, is going to be changed, and it's going to be Azania. Yeah. In 1994, again, when leaders of the PAC in 1968, when they changed Azanian people to Azanian People's Liberation Army, everybody was saying there's no such, this country can never be Azania. But how many organizations today in that parliament who even sing a song that says from Cape to Cairo, from Morocco to Madagascar, Azania is really to Azania must be freed? How many political parties today that wants this country to be Azania? Everything that PAC said, everybody wants it to be achieved. It's only the few now. Of course, it is the ruling party and the white people who are resisting this name change. And it is going to happen. Yeah. Did we know that at some point the Rotterdam Road from N2 in Cape Town to Belleville would be changed after Robert Mangali Sobukwe? No, nobody knew. It is today. Did we know that the Devils Drive that Philip Khosana marched to on the 30th of March 1960 to Cape Town from N2 right up Cape Town Parliament would be changed to Philip Khosana? Nobody knew. Today it is. This country will be named, and in fact, it will be given its real name, and its real name is Azania.
Okay.
Only Israel Abanzundu, that will bring a new social order.
You want to make some very big changes then, so not just a changing of the name of the country, but a re-legislating of the new constitution. What's one part of the constitution that you would want to see re-legislated?
Remember, this constitution is the reason why today we are landlessness. This section 25 of the constitution, this mostly celebrated constitution in the world, celebrated by countries of the world who are not having constitutions like this one. Their own countries are not using this constitution, and yet they are saying this is the best constitution ever. They are patronizing us. But of course, we know what we want. We know what we were fighting for. And as the late Dr. Motsubu Pegu would say, you can't go to France and say France belongs to all who live in France. Now, but this constitution is legalizing everything that was done wrong to African people. So the section 25 must be changed, and the land must be given to African people. Land must not be sold because land is sacred. And also the judiciary must be changed. It must be decolonized in South Africa. As you know today, if you go to court, it's as if you are in Rome or you are in England.
Yes,
even if you are a
Mr. Nyhontso, let me step in here, because and I'm doing this in the interest of time. I get the sense that we're using the populist words, decolonize the judiciary, re-legislate the constitution. But my question was, Which section is it particularly that you feel would be prioritized to be re-legislated? What is it exactly that you take issue with in the Constitution that you think does not represent the people of the country?
I said it's section 25, the land question.
Okay. Okay.
I was very clear. It's the land question. And of course, this judiciary that we have today is based on this constitution, this section 96 or section 108 constitution. It's not a populist word.
Okay.
To say decolonization is not a populist word. We are a colonized nation. It's not a populist word. It's something that happened to us, that is still happening to us. That is why to date, even if you are a Sotho-speaking African, and you are accused, you are in court, even if your lawyer is also a Sotho-speaking African, and the judge, the Sotho-speaking African, and everybody, the prosecutor, and everyone in court, but we still speak in English.
Okay, so in your manifesto, on page 5, really in the earlier parts of your manifesto, you talk about calling for a complete nullification of agreements between the African National Congress and what you call the de Klerk settler government. Now, I bring this up because I'm keen to pick your brain on what you make of the formation of this Afrikaner leadership network quite recently, with bodies such as Solidarity as part of it, that are calling for a national dialogue in the country between Afrikaners and the government, calling for some level of self-determination, calling for territory, and saying that they're going to work with the government to build the country. Do you think that's a step in the right direction?
Yes, it is. We need to know what was. Firstly, we need to know what really happened in those negotiations, in those talks before negotiations. Remember, there were things that were called talks before talks. In Groote there were those meetings that ANC was meeting with likes of Kobi Kutsie, the intelligence ministers of the time, and we really say we want those minutes. What was happening? We also want minutes of Codesa. What did these guys agree? Remember, PAC was part of negotiations, but in some meetings we were not invited. And after the new dispensation, we saw the sunset clauses, where we could not tamper with the land of white people, and yet the item of conflict in this country is the land, and yet the land was not discussed in Codesa, and we are saying we must, with everything that was agreed behind the scenes, behind the knowledge of the African people, must come up to the open so that we start discussing it. On Saturday, when we were burying Tata Mkalipi, one ex-Robben Islander and the former SG of Mwasa, Stembele Kala, said, we need Codesa too. I agree with him. And another one, Sislindiwe Sisulu, the former minister and the ANC senior member, said, we need to talk as African people, massive and agree on everything. I agree with him. And the leader of Kipla, Yusuf Patel, in Cape Town, said to me, we need a black conference in this country. I agree. Now, which means we really need to start a dialogue and discuss the land question in particular, because the item of conflict is the land, and discuss everything that was discussed behind the scenes that we don't know. It must come out. We must see these agreements. Truth is, we were sold out and we were betrayed.
Very interesting. Okay, so the PAC saying happy to sit with the Afrikaner Leadership Network in those talks post the elections. As we wrap up, one of the things that we, of course, I've noted anyway, is how the PAC says it's not over-ambitious in its goals for these elections. You talk about you're aiming for a modest 10 seats in the National Assembly. Where coalitions are concerned, who are you definitely not willing to work with?
No. That's wrong for a politician to say I'm not willing to work with so-and-so. But it's right to say we are willing to work with like-minded political parties. It's right to say we are willing to work with anyone who is going to prioritize the needs of our people, the service delivery, the plight of our people, the health question, the land question, the education question, and everything else that affects our people. And somebody is going to prioritize what our people want, not prioritizing positions. And as I can see now, people are saying, no, we are ready to discuss cabinet positions. Why are we ready to discuss cabinet positions instead of discussing problems of the people? So we are ready to work with those ones. But to stand up and say, we can't work with so and so in politics, no, we can't do that. What is important in politics, in particular in PAC, is that, as Comrade T.M. Dandala, the first APLA commander, once said, in your principles, you must be as firm as a pine tree. But in your tactics going forward, you can be as flexible as a willow tree. And come 29th of May, Valdez is coming. PAC is going to surprise many, including you, Naledi.